just what are your plans for the off season and possibly playing or just doing individual workouts?
Yeah, I mean, probably take a little bit of a break here, just for maybe a week. I don't really want to lose a ton of the stuff I've worked on, and just trying to get my body back to full health. There's some USA basketball stuff I need to get ready for.
Imagine this, the biggest star in women's basketball, barely a year into her pro career, quietly giving her own team an ultimatum. It sounds unbelievable, almost like a sports headline gone too far. But that's exactly what's sending shockwaves through the WNBA right now. Reports are flying everywhere, and they all point to one thing. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising superstar anymore. She's using her influence to shape her team's future, and the Indiana Fever front office has been caught right in the middle of it. According to insiders, Clark delivered a message that no one expected. Keep two specific players, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull, or risk losing her loyalty altogether. This wasn't some emotional plea to keep her friends. It was a calculated move, a show of power that exposed just how much control Clark already has inside the organization. Think about it. Most players have to win championships, rack up awards, or spend years proving themselves before they get a voice in roster decisions. But Clark? She's doing it after just one season. One season where she made headlines, filled arenas, and transformed the Fever from an overlooked team into one of the most talked about franchises in sports. Her arrival didn't just boost ticket sales, it changed the entire business of the WNBA. Merchandise sold out overnight. TV ratings skyrocketed. She didn't just bring fans, she brought a movement. And now, that same power is being used not just on the court, but in the boardroom. This story isn't about ego. It's about leverage. The kind that comes from knowing you're the most valuable asset your league has ever seen. And Caitlin Clark knows exactly what that means. To understand how this all spiraled into one of the biggest off-season dramas the WNBA has ever seen, you first need to look at the Fever situation behind the scenes. The team's financial reality is brutal. Once the 2024 season ended, only 3 players were guaranteed contracts for 2026: Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Nalissa Smith. Everyone else, including fan favorites Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham, was set to hit free agency. On paper, management said they wanted everyone back. But privately, they were already making tough calls. With limited cap space, someone was going to be left out. And here's where things get complicated. The WNBA salary cap for 2025 sits at about $1.46 million. That's for the entire 12-player roster. The maximum salary for a superstar like Clark is roughly $241,000. Most players make between $60,000 and $100,000 a year. Compare that to the NBA, where some bench players earn more than that every game, and you see how tight the margins really are. Every contract decision matters. So when the Fever front office started leaning toward letting Hull walk, a quiet cost-saving move, they probably thought it would go unnoticed. After all, Hull was a second-round pick from 2022, who only averaged 3.4 points per game her rookie year. But that perception changed fast. When injuries hit, she stepped up big, shooting over 40% from 3, playing tough defense, and becoming a perfect fit next to Clark on the floor. And then there's Sophie Cunningham. She came over from the Phoenix Mercury in a mid-season trade and immediately became a veteran leader. Her chemistry with Clark was obvious, both on and off the court. Tough defense, clutch shooting, and a fearless attitude that matched Clark's energy. But as an unrestricted free agent, she was staring at the same reality: one good year and possibly no future in Indiana. That's when everything shifted. Word started spreading that Clark's camp stepped in, not as a suggestion, but as a statement. Sources say she made it clear to management: these 2 players stay, or there will be consequences. Private meetings were held with General Manager Amber Cox, and those conversations changed the tone completely. Clark's timing was no accident. She didn't wait for free agency to unfold. She didn't wait for the Fever to announce decisions. She moved first, demanding answers before any contracts were signed. That's what makes this move so shocking. It's not just influence, it's control. She essentially took over the off-season before it even began. People are already comparing this to LeBron James' level of influence. The kind where a single player shapes the roster, dictates strategy, and decides who stays or goes. The difference is that LeBron earned that power over decades, with 4 championships and 10 finals appearances. Clark is doing it after just 1 season, no titles, no playoff run, just sheer star power. But make no mistake, her reasoning is clear. She wants stability. She wants her trusted trio, Clark, Hull, and Cunningham, the group some fans call Trace Leches. She believes this core gives her the best chance to win a title, and she's betting that the team will trust her judgment even though she's still early in her career. Of course, this creates new problems. The Fever's top priority was re-signing veteran guard Kelsey Mitchell, the team's leading scorer and longtime face of the franchise. But keeping Hull and Cunningham means eating up valuable cap space that could make Mitchell the odd woman out. In other words, Clark's push to keep her closest allies might force the team to lose its most consistent veteran. Mitchell's story adds another emotional layer. She's been with the Fever since 2018, carrying the team through losing seasons, staying loyal when others left, and mentoring younger players. She's averaged over 17 points per game, made an all-star team, and kept fans engaged through the hard years. And now, she might be the one sacrificed to protect Clark's inner circle. This is where the real tension lies, between loyalty and leverage, between chemistry and legacy. Clark is forcing the franchise to choose between its past and its future. Beyond the roster drama, there's a bigger picture here, what this means for power dynamics in women's sports. For decades, WNBA players have fought for better pay, better conditions, and a stronger voice in how teams are run. Now, Clark is taking that fight to a new level. Some people celebrate her for using her influence, saying this is exactly what women's basketball needs, stars who know their worth and demand more. Others worry it's going too far, giving one player too much control too soon. And as all this unfolds, there's an even bigger storm brewing in the background. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement expires on October 31st. A lockout or strike could put the entire 2026 season at risk. Teams are hesitant to commit to long-term deals without knowing the next financial structure. That uncertainty makes Clark's demands even more powerful. She's pushing for immediate action before the league itself hits a standstill. In the end, this isn't just a story about contracts or teammates. It's about what happens when cultural power meets business pressure, when a player who changed the league decides she wants to change her own team too. Caitlin Clark knows exactly how valuable she is. The question now is, how much power can one player really hold before it starts to reshape the game itself?